Hello everyone, Basic Ollie here. Welcome back to another episode of This Week on iRacing. If you've never heard of this series before, it's basically me just talking about the upcoming races that are about to appear in iRacing for the next week, just so you can get a little bit of a heads up, so you know what's popping up instead of having to have a look at the schedule. I'll pick out some of the best series that are racing at the best tracks, shall we say, and the best combos, and yeah, we just kind of talk about them and give you the information you need. So let's start off this week's episode with IMSA. Now, unfortunately for me, the IMSA schedule has been a bit naff this season, and unfortunately, it does continue. Now, listen, I don't mind Long Beach, okay? And there are many people out there like yourselves that probably don't mind Long Beach either. But participation levels for Long Beach aren't great. And I have to say, apart from Sebring, which is week 1, you have to feel like this schedule really is just a bit naff in terms of participation. It's nice they're doing something a little bit different, but the gap between one of the popular races, or, you know, ones with good participation and ones that aren't, is too big. It's not particularly great, and yeah, unfortunately, IMSA is just been dead last week, this week, and potentially could be dead next week as well, but we'll see. Anyways, Open IMSA, obviously we've got the free classes, the GTP, LMP2, and GT3 or whatnot. There's a 17% chance of rain. Okay, so 17% chance of rain in this one. And we'll have a quick look whilst we're here. We'll have a quick look at the temperature. So it's 21 degrees track temperature, so nice and low, so you don't really need to worry about that too much. In-game time, it's about 8 a.m. Is when the race starts, so you don't need to worry about the temperatures rising too much. Now, one thing to note when it comes to the IMSA Open, there actually is a 17% chance of rain. So you'll have to keep an eye out for that. 17%, we'll see. We'll have to wait for the forecast to come out. Can't quite see that yet. But it could be one of those ones where it's wet at the start, you know, rain before the start of the race. Who knows? We'll find out shortly. But yeah, IMSA Open, 17% chance of rain. Fixed and endurance, no chance of rain at all. I can't imagine the 6 hours is going to be particularly popular either. 6 hours at Long Beach is a grind. I've done 2 hours and 40 minutes. That's a grind. 6 hours, that's next level. That's where IMSA's heading this week. Not particularly great if you ask me, but, you know, we move on. Okay then, up next we have the GT3 series. So we've got the GT Sprint, the GT3 Fixed, and the GT3 Endurance. And this week we are heading to Mugello. I want to talk about the scheduling because it doesn't seem to make much sense to me. As some of you may know, we've just done a Creventic 12-hour race at this circuit last week, and it just doesn't make any sense to me at all whatsoever why they've now gone to this track a week later after the event. Does it not make more sense to head to this track when there's a 12-hour at the weekend as well? That way, people get the prep in, people are happy, they're much more likely to do a 12-hour, and setup shops will do setups for the event. It was very difficult for people to get setups for the 12-hour last weekend because no series was heading there. It just doesn't seem to make any sense to me. If you're going to add it to the schedule and the calendar, why this week? Why not the previous week when you really could have helped with participation for that 12-hour? It makes no sense. It just seems so strange to me. But anyways, like I said, GT3 series, they're all heading to Mugello this week, which is a great track. I don't know what participation's going to be like. It will be higher than Long Beach, that's for sure. But it should be fairly decent. It's a great track to drive in a GT3, especially a Porsche as well. It's absolutely mega. Don't worry if you're seeing some GT4s and P-Cups in this footage. This is just me from last weekend when we did the 12-hour here. One thing you don't have to worry about as well is rain. There's no rain at all. No rain at all in the Sprint, Fixed, or Endurance, so you don't need to worry about that whatsoever. And talking of things not to worry about is the track temperature as well, because again we're in for an early start time. You don't need to worry about it too much. However, do be warned, it is Italy, it is spring, so you might start in the low 20s, but in the endurance series, 3 hours long, the track temperature is gonna rise quite a bit, so do keep an eye out for that. But yep, GT3 is going to Mugello this week. Don't really know why this week and not last week, but I don't make the schedule, so yeah. Okay, next up on my list of series to check out for this week is the Porsche Cup series, Open and Fixed. They are going to VIR. I really like this combo. I'm not quite sure why. I think it's just the track is just absolutely mega, and the fact it is free is just superb. VIR is without a doubt one of the most underrated tracks on this service, and I have to say, in my eyes, the best free track as well. It's a lot of track, it's a lot of fun. The roller coaster section's absolutely mega. Is it tough in Porsche Cup cars? Yes, it really is, but free track participation levels should be good. There's no chance of rain in either the open or the fixed, and track temps are nice and low because the in-game start time is early on in the morning, so you don't need to worry about that. So, Porsche Cup cars this week at VIR. I think this should be a popular one indeed. So, yeah, check it out if you can. Okay, so just to quickly finish off with the sports car side of things on this week's episode of This Week on iRacing, just one or two things that I've noticed that might be interesting to a few of you out there. Ringmeister at the moment, obviously Mission R, so not particularly popular. You can't quite see it, but the Formula Vs are actually going to the Nordschleife next week, so that should be a lot of fun. So if you're, let's say, lacking a little bit in SR, this might be the one for you in the open formula kind of side of things. But let's be honest, no one really cares too much about that, I don't think. And that's probably harsh to say, but A license only does the Formula 1 cars, and I don't really think many people care about it too much anymore, unfortunately, because they're quite out of date now. So yeah, that looks like it'll be good fun. Ringmeister with Formula Vs, and then lastly as well, I noticed the Proto GTs, although not a very popular series itself, this could be one to tune in for and do yourself. They are going to Le Mans. So GT1 cars, for me, very underrated, great cars to drive. And you got the HPDs as well. The 4GT, not so much the GT2, but this should be good fun. So keep an eye on the series page, see when it's popular, and fingers crossed you can get a race or two this week. So yeah, I'm going to be trying to do that myself. But yeah, GT1 cars, HPDs, and GT2 cars at Le Mans. What's not to like, eh? And then lastly, let's have a quick look at the Formula Car licenses and where those series are heading for this week. Now, for me, I always check the Super Formula Lights because these are great cars and they're a lot of fun. So if we have a look at the schedule for the Formula Lights, the Super Formula's be going there as well. It looks like it's going to the Hungaroring, and I think the in-game start time is about 12:55 p.m. So don't expect too high track temps, probably low to mid-20s in that one, if I'm being completely frank with you. And you don't need to worry about the weather as well. It says there's a 0% chance of rain in both the open and the fixed, so it should be fine. Be very, very, very difficult to overtake. The Hungaroring is always just a massive pain to overtake. Your best bet is going to be into T1 and maybe T2. As soon as you get to the last sector or the middle sector, it's very, very difficult to overtake. So yeah, don't know what participation levels are going to be like. Hungaroring is, even though despised by myself, I think participation levels, people generally quite like it. So I think, yeah, I think you're going to see plenty of people sign up for that one. And then if you look at the F3 stuff, so the Formula C, that is going to VIR. So again, free track should be, again, lots of people signing up for it because it is a free track, so it always helps. The good layout as well. So Formula 3 should be pretty decent. We're at the Nordschleife at the moment, but now we're going to go to a free track VIR. So I don't see that dropping off in popularity. That should be absolutely fine. And then when it comes to the F4 stuff, so the open and the fixed series, nothing particularly great, I'll be honest with you. It's Phillip Island at the moment, which isn't great, and then it's going to Misano. And Misano, for some reason, I don't know why, but it's just kind of flopped on this service, and I don't know why. It's just really not that popular. Hopefully you've enjoyed this week's episode of This Week on iRacing. Hopefully it's given you a bit of information for the upcoming races for this week. As always, please do consider subscribing if you are enjoying this content, if you're watching and you're not subscribed yet. And maybe, if you haven't yet, hit the old like button on the way out. But thank you very much for watching. I've been Basic Ollie, and I'll catch you for next week's episode. Take care. Ta-da.